Date is October 11th, 2017. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by a posting on the bulletin board in Village Hall, by mail to the Ridgewood News, the Record, and by submission to all persons entitled to same as provided by law of a schedule, including the date and time of this meeting. Roll call.
Councilman Hache?
Here.
Councilman Seaton?
Here.
Councilman Voigt?
Here.
Councilwoman Walsh?
Here.
And Mayor Newton.
Here. Please stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join us in a moment of silence for our men and women serving our nation and our first responders. Thank you. We're going to be starting this evening with a presentation and discussion of Hudson Street, a few administrative items, and then moving on. So we will begin with a presentation and discussion of Hudson Street, Block 3809, lots 12 and 13, as an area in need of redevelopment. And we have with us this evening Bridget Bogart, our village planner.
Thank you. Mr. Rogers, do I need to be sworn in?
I think it's up to the board. She's making a presentation of a report. I don't think you need to really be sworn in for that purpose.
Well, thank you.
We know you're credentialed anyway.
All right.
Properly. Great. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. You should have before you a...
Could you just make sure the green light is on and right
on.
into the microphone?
Okay. You should have before you a report dated September 1st, 2017 that I prepared with the planning board, and it was subject of a public hearing last Tuesday before the planning board. What I'd like to do is walk you through the process and what we did for the investigation and basically identify the conclusions we came to. As the mayor had indicated, this is a report just determining whether the area, block 3809, lots 12 and 13, meet the designation criteria for determining it's an area in need of redevelopment. If you look on page 3 with the introduction, as I mentioned to you, the purpose of this report is purely to determine whether it meets the criteria for an area in need of redevelopment as defined by the state, local redevelopment and housing law. And hereafter I'll refer to that as the LRHL. The LRHL sets forth specific criteria and conditions that must be met in order to determine or designate an area in need of redevelopment. It also sets forth the process that's put forth before the governing body and the planning board. First and foremost, there's no area in a municipality throughout the state that could be determined an area in need of redevelopment unless the governing body directs the planning board to undertake this preliminary investigation. And that was done in a resolution 17-243 on August 9th, 2017, where in the planner, myself, and the planning board were authorized to undertake this investigation, which is summarized in this report. That being said, we had 2 hearings, or a work session and a public hearing at the planning board, most recently last Tuesday, where I gave a presentation to the board and they determined and agreed with my conclusions in this report and recommended to the governing body that this lot in this area be designated an area in need of redevelopment. On page 4 of the report, as I indicated, the local redevelopment and housing law sets forth criteria that must be met. Now, there's 9 criteria set forth in the housing law, but the area must only meet 1, or needs only to meet 1 of them. I actually refer to 2 of the criteria in here, but what I first want to do is go through the 9 criteria and identify which ones that I did rely on. Criteria A is that the generality of buildings on the property are substandard, unsafe, and unsanitary. Obviously, that's not the case here because we're looking at a site that's just a surface parking lot. Purpose B is the continuous of use of buildings that were previously used for commercial. Is that me cracking? Sorry.
Actually, you know what? You don't have one of these. You want to take mine? This little piece.
Oh.
It's missing a. Do we have a little foam thing?
There's
one over there.
The other table.
I hope that helps.
Yes. Perfect.
Okay. Purpose B is the discontinuance of use of a building that was previously used for commercial, manufacturing, or industrial purpose. Again, that's not the case here because there is no building on the site. Criteria C is land that was previously owned or owned by a municipality, county, or local housing authority that has remained vacant for a number of years. Purpose D is areas with buildings or improvements by reason of dilapidation, obsolescence, overcrowding, or faulty arrangement are detrimental to the safety, health, morals, and welfare of the community. This is one of the criteria that I relied upon, and I'll get into that in a second. Criteria E is a growing lack of proper utilization of the area caused by the condition of title, diverse ownership of real property, or other condition therein which impede land establishment or discourage the undertaking of improvements and results in a stagnant, not fully productive condition of land potentially usable and valuable to contributing to the public health, safety, welfare of a community. I relied on both criteria D and E together in concert, and you'll understand that once I go through my planning analysis. So, criteria F is areas in excess of 5 continuous acres, which have been destroyed or consumed by natural disaster. Did not rely on that. Criteria G is an area that's been designated in New Jersey Urban Enterprise Zone, which is not applicable here. And purpose H, finally, is the designation of an area that is consistent with smart growth planning principles. Now, I could have relied on that because I think that this is an important site located in the middle of downtown, and its redevelopment would be consistent with the state's smart growth planning principles, but I did not rely on this for this report. So on pages 5 through 8, I actually went into a detailed analysis of what each of the criteria mean and how they affect the subject property. I'm not going to go into detail with all of them because, again, I did not rely on some of them, but starting on page 6, I talk about criteria D. And criteria D, as I mentioned to you, focuses really on important land use planning standards. And this really goes to the heart of the local master plan documents and the goals and objectives of the master plan documents and how they relate to the subject site. So going through this, I looked at a number of the master plan documents throughout the years, and it talks a lot about a walkable downtown, a viable downtown, and economically thriving downtown. And you'll see that in a number of planning documents, and also cited in your master plan, is that surface parking lots are deleterious land uses, particularly in the downtown area, and they result in a downtown that has detrimental safety, health, morals, and welfare to the community because they actually create gaps in the streetscape and they reduce the walkability of a downtown. And when you compare that to your master plan goals and objectives where you want mixed use, you want lots of walkability, you want pedestrian safety, the fact that this property is actually developed as a surface parking lot is very contradictory to those goals of the master plan. So from those perspectives, I believe that this site and this area meet criteria D. And as I mentioned to you, criteria D and E sort of go in concert with one another. Criteria E is where there's a growing lack of total lack of proper utilization of the area, which creates basically a stagnant environment. This has been a surface parking lot for a number of years, and as you'll see, what I did was an analysis of the tax assessment records and compared it to the entire block. One of the indicators to measure economic productivity is a ratio of assessed value to improvement value. So you'll see that if the land value is so substantial, and as compared to what is constructed on it, you'll see a ratio of less than 2 to 1. And so ratios of less than 2 to 1 or below 50% may be evidence that the site or the area is underutilized. So if you look at Table 8, I think it's interesting. All of Block 3809 basically has ratios of greater than 2 to 1, more than 50%, meaning that their land values and their constructed values or the assessed values of the buildings are consistent with typical standards. But if you look at lots 12 and 13 on that block, you'll see the improvement ratio is 4.5% and 0.02%. And this is an indicator that this land is not being fully productive. And the reason I had mentioned that criteria E and D are utilized together is because not only is it shown from an assessment value that it's not fully productive, but then you compare it to your local master plan goals and the goals that you want economic vitality, you want mixed use, and you want walkable environments, and those two criteria together and the evidence show that this site in this area meet criteria D and E. Page 10, I just identify the site as with an aerial, and the site is approximately, the site boundaries are outlined in red. And I have the tax map as well. As I started to mention to you, there's a number of goals in your master plan documents that that identify that this site should be more than what it currently is. And on page 11, I start to identify that where it specifically says that the village's central business district containing an active pedestrian-oriented retail shopping area is an attractive asset to the community. Its character should be preserved and enhanced to maintain this function. Well, you'll see as it's developed with a surface parking lot, it really does not meet that goal. The community facilities plan says that for many years, the village's master plan has indicated a need to increase the public off-street parking areas in the central business district through land acquisition, redesign of existing parking areas, and the construction of a parking garage. The report goes on to say that the village has also recently adopted studies and processing plans for the construction of a parking deck. These goals in the community facilities plan portion of your master plan really go to the heart of the fact that we don't want to see surface parking lots in the downtown, and that is not consistent with the goals and objectives of your master plan. So as I mentioned, I just go through a little bit of a zoning analysis. I did do a site inspection. Page 14 talks a little bit about what is actually existing on site. There's 37 parking spaces on lot 12, 39 on lot 13. The two lots don't have shared circulation, and that also causes vehicle circulation issues within the downtown, creating more of a pedestrian hazard from a circulation perspective. There's no landscaping on site, and there's really, it detracts from the aesthetics of the entire downtown, and you can see that on page 14 in the two photos. So page 15, I just went through the full evaluation. As I indicated on the top of page 15, the parking lots are shown to be hostile in a number of planning documents. They have obviously lower total assessed values. They undermine walkability of a downtown at the expense of the entire downtown, and therefore are detrimental to the morals and welfare of a community. As illustrated on the table with the assessed values, you'll see that the improvements are only 2.4 and 0.4% of the land values, indicating that that land is more valuable for another type of use. And again, going into the master plan documents and the goals and how we are really, this site is really inconsistent with those goals and objectives. So for all those reasons, I feel that this site in this area meet criteria D and E set forth in the local housing law. I gave, as I mentioned to you, I gave this presentation to the planning board and on Tuesday night, and they agreed with the findings and recommended that the governing body consider adopting a resolution identifying this area as an area in need of redevelopment, which is the next step identified in the local redevelopment housing law.
Okay, thank you. Questions?
I have some questions.
Oh, sure.
Hello, thank you. So at our last council meeting, we discussed your report briefly, and I had a couple of questions at that point, and that's why we asked you to be here. I specifically wanted to ask you some questions. I'll just kind of go through your report, kind of as you just did, and go through my questions. So the criteria that you used through all of the listed criteria were just D and E out
Correct.
of all of them. Mm-hmm. So how many were there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Out of 8, we only met 2 criteria.
There's 9. There's a smart growth criteria, which was just added.
Out
There
of
used to be
9,
8
okay, so out of 9, we only met 2 of the criteria.
I think we probably could have met 3. The local redevelopment housing law only requires you to meet 1.
Okay. And so when this was discussed at the planning board level, because you have the chart in there that shows all the other improved properties, that was one of the questions that I had. If the best use for it is improved, does it necessarily dictate that we would have to put a parking garage there?
Not necessarily.
So that's not part of your report at all in terms of analyzing what could or should go there?
It touches upon it briefly because there are goals and objectives in the community facilities plan that say that surface parking lots are not efficient for the downtown and we should be looking at parking structures. So that is in the document. As I explained to the planning board, the redevelopment process is really a 2 or 3 step process where the designation comes first, and then if the resolution is adopted designating the site, a redevelopment plan could be created.
Okay, so what started that ball rolling? What started the redevelopment analysis going, I guess?
As I mentioned, the governing body adopted a resolution in August, Resolution 17-243.
Right, but when that came to us, I was wondering how that whole process got started, and they said it had come from the planning board to us.
I don't believe so. I think that was that was an initiative that was requested by the council of the planning board to investigate whether or not this particular site, these parcels, the Hudson Street lot, would meet the criteria, and then we also hired Bridget to do the study from a planner's perspective as to whether or not it would.
Okay, I thought that the planning board asked us to consider it. So where did the redevelopment come from? It just didn't pop out of the air. That's my question. How did that site, after we're going along on a trajectory, how did it all of a sudden become redevelopment?
I'm not sure I can answer.
No, it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't become it until we decide it. But how did the concept first
How did the
start?
concept,
I'm not
right.
sure how the concept first started. But
Okay, can I, I don't mind explaining that. My understanding is that the North Walnut Street lot is designated as an area in need of redevelopment, and my understanding is that gave us greater control over the process of how to develop the lot. And in my mind, I thought this was something we should bring to the council and allow the council to determine whether or not they would want more control over the process and put that tool in the toolbox as we proceed with a garage development project. And we came to the council and the council agreed.
Okay. Because my concern is that your report, if you just read it, if you don't know anything about Ridgewood and you read this, it's showing that it should be improved. It would be much more valuable as improved, and I couldn't say what, but showing all the other properties and their improvements and their value, and this is just their tax assessment value. We don't know what their actual value is, but those properties are showing that this lot would be much more valuable as some other type of property. So I guess that's the question. If we then decide that we're going forward with the garage on the site, did we do the right thing for the village by saying this is the best use for that site?
Well, I think, as I mentioned to you several times in the presentation, and case law shows that you can't just do the valuation analysis by itself. It really has to be considered in conjunction with the village goals. And that's why I tied it to the village master plan documents and what is warranted or what the goals for that area were.
So if our goal is a garage, it'll be a garage.
That's what the planning board or the governing body needs to decide.
Okay. And then I just had a couple other questions. So obviously we have lots of surface lots throughout the village. And if you're saying a surface lot is detrimental, is there anything in your report or anything that you would recommend to us regarding all of our surface lots? Or is it solely this lot?
This question came up at the planning board level as well.
Okay.
And it really goes to the heart of the location of this lot. It ties into the CBD. It's immediately adjacent to an area where we've already identified throughout the village documents that parking is needed. And so it really goes to the specifics, the conditions of this lot, the location, and the master plan goals. So you really can't apply that concept to any surface parking area in the municipality.
So it's solely this lot?
For right now. I mean, I didn't review every surface lot.
Okay, okay. And you use the term vibrant. How do you define vibrant?
That was a term in your master plan,
So you're defining it the same way we define vibrant?
yes.
Okay. Let me just see if I have any other. I think those are all the questions that I had.
Thank you.
And just one question to Councilman Walsh's point about which surface lots this would be applied to and how that was determined. But somebody obviously saw fit to do this, take this same action and apply it to the North Walnut lot, which is similarly situated. Would you agree that it is similarly situated in context of relationship to the central business district as this one, and perhaps that was the reasoning behind that?
Yeah, I believe so. And more specifically with this one, as I mentioned, the two lots really don't connect. So they cause a lot of vehicles going in and out, crossing over the sidewalk, reducing pedestrian safety, which are all goals of your master plan. So there's specific conditions to this lot, which, and the other lot that I think are appropriate for this designation.
Any other questions?
If I just may add, I mean, everybody's got to understand that if you were to, the redevelopment law looks at specific parcels or parcel of property to determine whether or not it meets the criteria. So what was asked of the planning board was to conduct that study as to this particular surface lot. Each one of the surface lots would have to stand on its own merits as to whether or not it met that criteria. So the way that it works is that the study that's done applies to this lot only, and there isn't general standards other than the statutory criteria that gets reviewed when you look at any of the lots. And so you can't take what was said here particular to Hudson Street and apply it to Chestnut Street, because Chestnut Street would have to have its own study done to determine, from a procedural standpoint, has to have its own study done. And so do you determine, I think what the charge now for the council is to decide is whether or not this particular surface lot on Hudson Street should get the designation of being an area in need of redevelopment. So, and that's what the study was about, basically.
Any other questions? All right, so we're going to move on and to the resolution. And Bridget, thank you so much, as always. We appreciate the thoroughness of your report and you being here tonight, so thank you.
Thank you. I always look forward to the invitation.
So I'll read it in full? Okay. Whereas the Village Council of the Village of Ridgewood, pursuant to Resolution 17-278, authorized the Planning Board of the Village of Ridgewood hereinafter the board to undertake a preliminary investigation of a certain property owned by the village to determine if Block 3809, lots 12 and 13, as shown on the tax map of the Village of Ridgewood, is an area in need of redevelopment in accordance with the criteria set forth in the Local Redevelopment and Housing Law, NJSA 40A:12A-1 et sec, and more particularly NJSA 40A:12A-5. And whereas the area investigated and considered by the Planning Board of the Village of Ridgewood as an area in need of redevelopment is property owned by the village, known as the Hudson Street Municipal Parking Lot, at the northeast corner of the intersection of Hudson Street and South Broad Street, and more specifically identified as Block 3809, lots 12 and 13 on the village tax map, subject area. And whereas on September 5th, 2017 and October 3rd, 2017, the Planning Board of the Village of Ridgewood held public hearings to determine whether the subject area identified above satisfies or meets the criteria established in the Local Redevelopment and Housing Law. And whereas at the October 3rd, 2017 public hearing, the Planning Board of the Village of Ridgewood voted unanimously in support of designating the subject area as an area in need of redevelopment and referred the matter back to the Village Council to be considered for designation as an area in need of redevelopment pursuant to the cited statute. And whereas the Village Council of the Village of Ridgewood has reviewed the October 3rd, 2017 letter from the Planning Board of the Village of Ridgewood, as well as the planning report of Bridget Bogart, professional planner for the Village of Ridgewood, and the Planning Board, which report was dated September 1st, 2017, and entitled Determination of Area in Need of Redevelopment, Downtown Redevelopment Area, Village of Ridgewood, New Jersey. Whereas the Village Council of the Village of Ridgewood held a public hearing on this matter on October 11, 2017, at which time a discussion of the planner's report cited above, the recommendation of the planning board, and council discussion and questions of the public were addressed. At this public meeting, the Village Council concurred with the opinion of the planner and the conclusions of the planning board, and voted to designate lots 12 and 13 of Block 3809 as an area in need of redevelopment pursuant to NJSA 40A:12A-1 et sec, and that the subject area meets two of the criteria set forth in NJSA 40A:12A-5. Now therefore be it resolved by the Village Council of the Village of Ridgewood, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, that the Village Council hereby adopts and affirms the opinion of Bridgette Bogart, the planner for the Village and Planning Board, and concurs with the recommendation of the Planning Board of the Village that Block 3809, lots 12 and 13, be and are hereby designated as an area in need of redevelopment in accordance with the local redevelopment and housing law, NJSA 40A:12A-1 et sec, and incorporates herein by reference the September 1st, 2017 planning report of Bridgette Bogart, professional planner. The Village Council reaffirms that the village is not considering, nor will it authorize, the use of the power of eminent domain in the consideration and designation of the subject area as an area in need of redevelopment, and future considerations of any proposed development of or use for the subject area. And be it further resolved that by the Village Council that a copy of this resolution shall be served upon the New Jersey Commissioner of the Department of Community Affairs, upon all property owners of lands identified within the subject area, and to the extent possible, all persons who appeared and commented at the public hearings held by the Planning Board of the Village of Ridgewood and Village Council, together with a notice to said persons that any legal action to challenge the designation of the subject area as an area in need of redevelopment must commence within 45 days of the receipt of the notice, and any failure to do so will preclude any future challenge to said designation. May I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Okay. Any discussion? No?
I guess I would say the only discussion is that this pretty much says that a garage is going to be built there and nothing else.
What's that?
I said that what I'm understanding from this report and from our previous discussions is that there is a garage to be built there and nothing else.
Well, you're not, I mean, I'll say this resolution deals with the designation as an area in need of redevelopment. The council is going to be free to discuss at a later date, if it so chooses, any ordinances that would say that later on. You may decide that later on.
So just for clarification, though, if the council decided a garage, and Bridgette, you can speak to this, that the only thing you wanted to put there was a garage, then you would not be adopting ordinances for any other plan. Right.
Okay. Hache?
Yes.
Seaton?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes. Okay. Thank you again. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a couple more administrative issues, and then we'll move on. I move the bills, claims, and vouchers and statement of funds on hand as of September 30th, 2017 be as accepted as submitted.
Second.
Hache?
Yes.
Seaton?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes, I move the village council minutes of April 26th, August 9th, September 6th, and September 13th, 2017, having been reviewed by the village council, now available in the village clerk's office, be approved as submitted.
Second.
Hache?
Yes.
Seaton?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes, and we'll move on to proclamations. We're going to start with one proclamation read by Councilman Voigt for National Diabetes Awareness Month.
Thank you. Whereas November marks the start of a month-long series of activities aimed at raising diabetes awareness and calling for urgent action to tackle the diabetes epidemic, and whereas type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease which cannot be prevented or cured, it occurs when a person's pancreas stops producing insulin. Its onset is not related to diet or lifestyle, and it results in a need for insulin to survive. And whereas when you are afflicted with type 2 diabetes, your body does not use insulin properly, which is referred to as insulin resistance, and the recommended treatments are lifestyle changes, oral medications, and insulin. And whereas 9.3% of the population, or 29.1 million people in the United States, have diabetes, with 21 million people diagnosed and 8.1 million people undiagnosed, which means 17.8 50% of people with diabetes are undiagnosed. And whereas World Diabetes Day, to be held on November 14th, is led by the International Diabetes Foundation and its member associations, and whereas during Diabetes Awareness Month, we vow to combat this chronic, life-threatening illness by standing with those living with diabetes, honoring the professionals and advocates engaged in fighting diabetes, and working to raise awareness about type 1 and type 2 diabetes. And whereas the National Diabetes Education Program's 2017 theme is Women with Diabetes, with the slogan, Our Right to a Healthy Future. The campaign will promote the importance of affordable and equitable access for all women at risk for or living with diabetes to the essential diabetes medicines and technologies, self-management education, and information they require. And whereas as long as diabetes continues to burden our village, we must press on towards tomorrow's promising breakthroughs in treatment, care, and education. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Village Council of the Village of Ridgewood recognizes the struggles that families face and wants to show its support by proclaiming November as Diabetes Awareness Month and November 14th as World Diabetes Day, and encourages all residents of the Village of Ridgewood to join in this worthy observance.
Thank you. And now, we will be joining, the council will be joining everyone down on the floor to honor Commander Robert Paoli. Through all of that, just because we wanted your opinion at the end of the meeting. Do you want to stay for the whole thing? No? Okay. So Councilwoman Walsh will be reading a proclamation.
I think I got it. Whereas Robert Paoli was born on December 7th, 1934, and grew up in the Washington Heights section of Manhattan. And whereas Bob served in the United States Army from 1954 to 1956 during the Cold War and was deployed to Germany. And whereas Bob met his wife Diane Boyle and was married September 16, 1961 in their local parish, St. Elizabeth's. And whereas Bob and Diane moved to Ridgewood in 1970 and raised 3 daughters in the village, Lisa Callahan, Robin Walsh, and Karen Valdez. All 3 daughters attended Travell Elementary School, Benjamin Franklin Middle School, and Ridgewood High School. And whereas Bob and Diane have 8 grandchildren, 4 of whom were raised in Ridgewood. The youngest of the Callahans' 4 daughters will graduate from Ridgewood High School this June 2018, marking Bob and Diane's 7th Ridgewood High School graduation. And whereas after working for Chase Manhattan Bank for 15 years, Bob changed careers and joined the New York City Department of Sanitation, retiring as a supervisor in 1994. And whereas Bob's volunteerism has been known and felt throughout the entire Ridgewood community and has touched the lives of literally thousands of village residents through his years of service, including serving as safety officer for the Travell Home and School Association, coaching RBA girls softball, volunteering at Valley Hospital, starring in Ridgewood High School's Jamboree as the oldest man in Ridgewood, serving on the Ridgewood High School Graduation Committee and as president and in various chairmanships for Hobbyists Unlimited. And whereas Bob first joined the American Legion in the Bronx, New York in 1965 and has served as commander of Ridgewood's American Legion Post 53 since 2006. His service in the American Legion includes the Village of Ridgewood, Memorial Day service, Gold Star Mother's Day event, Blue Star Families Dinner, Veteran Days observance, 4th of July events, school, scout programs, and many more activities involving veterans and promoting patriotism. And whereas Bob embodies the very best of our beloved community and serves as a role model for good citizenship. Now therefore be it resolved that the Village Council of the Village of Ridgewood does hereby express its profound gratitude to and appreciation for Robert Paoli for all he has done and for all that he continues to do for the Village of Ridgewood, its residents, on behalf of a grateful community.
So whenever Bob sends an email and invites us to, whether it's Memorial Day, Veterans Day, Gold Star Mothers event at Van Ness Square, or most recently, the Blue Star Families Dinner, whenever there's an email and we see Bob Paoli come across our desk, I don't think there's anyone who hesitates. It is like an email, the message that everybody steps up to the plate and says, absolutely, Bob, we'll be there.
Can I send my bills to you guys?
You could try. No, it's like, anyway, so not only do we appreciate just your friendship and your role as commander of American Legion Post 53, your citizenship, your loyalty to our nation and to our military families and to our community is so much appreciated by all of us. And we also have this commemorative, it's the key to the village, and so you can wear it next to your flag all the time. Zoe has this flag on.
That's pretty. Thank you very much.
You're welcome very much. It does not open the door, though. It does not open the door. Okay. Anyway.
Does it get me into the restroom?
So does anybody else want to say a few words? Anybody? Sure.
I met Bob when I first came to Ridgewood, and he's been commander since before I came here, and he's always really stepped up to the plate to organize a lot of events and bring awareness towards veterans issues, and we should really be proud to have Bob Paoli as part of our community, because he's a really stand-up guy. He's always honest, and he always really puts together a great show, and really brings a lot of light and respect and reverence to the military and military families. So I'd just like to thank you.
So Bob, your events, the Memorial Day and Veterans Day events, are probably some of the nicer, more memorable events. They're actually really moving. Some of the things that are talked about by the veterans themselves. And hearing about some of the stories they went through, and it's all because of the things that you've been putting together for us. And those kind of things are important for us as a community, to be able to kind of remember, recollect, and appreciate the people who serve. And I just want to let you know how much we are thankful for what you do as far as serving us. So thanks.
Commander, thank you so much for your service. Thank you for bringing to everyone in town, the importance of honoring those who serve and those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. I personally thank you because my children really enjoy going to place the flags on the graves of the veterans. And it's, it was such a wonderful event, because what it allowed me to do is to go back home and teach them about the history and the importance of these things. And that's really, at the end of the day, I think the greatest legacy that you brought here. It's the stories, it's the remembrance, and all the things that are really important, and that we unfortunately take for granted so often. But thank you so much for your service and dedication.
Well, thank you, Ramon, for saying that. One of the goals of the American.
Please have a music microphone.
That's okay, it's all yours.
Thank you for saying that, Ramon. One of the goals of the American Legion, of course, is to work with children and youth. So I'm happy that they're present at our events, and that the parents have the wherewithal to go home and discuss with them exactly what all this means. So thank you all of you very much for doing that. But I have to tell you that I have to share this with numerous people. I mean, there's so many volunteers in Ridgewood that puts forth their effort and their time to do some very nice and wonderful things for our Ridgewood community. certainly the village council is always there for the Legion and for, I'm sure, so many other people in town that need their support. I remember just last Friday night at the Blue Star, Gold Star, we had 13 Blue Star families there and one Gold Star gentleman. And when the time came to eat, they didn't waste any time to get up there, and somebody had a ladle, and somebody had a spoon, and somebody else was,
I was on salad. I was on salad.
You were on the salad. Yeah.
I was on salad.
Yeah. So they're good. They do stuff. They do stuff. And of course, the numerous volunteers that we have at Valley Hospital. Let's face it. They're at the information desk. They help people get around in wheelchairs and take them to the elevator, and perhaps they help with valet parking, whatever. They deliver newspapers, but it's so important that everybody gets involved, and it doesn't matter what you do or how often you do it, but to do something is really commendable. Of course, there's the cadre of many Ridgewood residents who are part of Project Pride. And we see the beautiful trees and the bushes and the flowers that adorn our streets in Ridgewood. That's a wonderful thing they're doing. Perhaps you read stories to the children at the public library. Perhaps you lead a discussion group at the Ridgewood Library. Perhaps you teach a foreign language or English as a second language. There are thousands of people out there, our policemen, our parks department, our signal department, the firemen. I'm sure I'm forgetting others, but the Jamboree people. Oh, yeah, starring role, yeah. When am I going to live this down? I'm not the oldest man. Yeah, so, the list goes on and on and on. And of course the teenagers. My God. When you read so much or see things in the media about some of these stupid kids out there, doing silly things. 18-year-old kids, just with no direction. And then you think of the 18-year-old kid who's in Afghanistan carrying, a pack that weighs 100 pounds, and he's slogging his way through the mud and the dirt. And they're all out there doing their job, carrying out their duties in order for us to be safe and secure at home. And the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, the Cub Scouts. And when you talk about teenagers, the Project Interact at Ridgewood High School, led by Nancy Riley and Lynn Feeney. What a wonderful group of kids they are. So there are a lot of good things in town. There are a great many good people in town, and God bless them that we have them. And thank you.
You want to just do some? We're just going to do some family photo ops, so if y'all want to come on up. Come on, Steve, Lisa, come on. The family. All right, and with that, we're moving on to public comments, not to exceed 3 minutes per person for a total of 40 minutes. Public comment. Come on up, Nancy. Good evening.
Hi. Good evening, everyone. I'm Nancy Green. I'm the library director in Ridgewood. And I just want to start by saying thank you to Heather and to all of you for considering, for looking at the parking in our municipal lot here and trying to think how it can be of the most benefit to the most people. I think it's wonderful that that discussion has finally come up, and I really wanted to thank Heather for spearheading it. I haven't seen the ordinance that you're considering tonight, and I know it's gone through some changes. But I just wanted to make sure that everybody on the council knows that our concern, well, we have several concerns, that people are unable to come to many library programs in the after school and evenings and weekends because of sports parking, and we'll walk over and check on the other side, and there's space in the lot on the other side, and people come into the library and they're so frustrated, and they say, you know, why can't the sports people park on the other side? And I wish that there was some way we could at least get, you know, people that are not Ridgewood residents that are coming to the sports things to park on the other side. But it's very frustrating for our residents that want to come to the library events that we're sponsoring that can't come because there's no parking. And the other thing I wanted to say is that we have concern about danger. There's times, I don't know, maybe, 5, 6 o'clock when the fields are in full play, and you'll have 5 or 6 cars circling around, and they'll wait for spaces, and then people will have to try to get around them, and we have people walking around with little kids, and people will back up if they see a spot, and it really becomes kind of a traffic jam. I'm not sure what can be done about that, but you might want to consider saying the buses need to drop off on the other side at what we had thought might be called the Veterans Field lot instead of in this lot, because adding to that when we have a sports event, makes additional danger, I think. And I know that we're all on the same page and we all want what's best for the residents of Ridgewood, but I just wanted to let you know that that our worst concerns are that people can't come to their programs that they want to come to, including lots of people with little kids, and that we have concern about danger, particularly for pedestrians, and when it's really crowded, people park in fire lanes and everything. So whatever consideration you can give to those concerns, we're grateful.
Okay, great. Thank you, Nancy. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Maureen Barrett, and I just wanted to introduce myself and Michael Anderson. We are the new owners of Wolfgang Bakery and Grooming, which is going to be located at 234 East Ridgewood Avenue. We were invited here. Thank you very much, Mayor, and everybody else for inviting us here. We're hoping to open in about 3 weeks, and we're really excited to be in Ridgewood. We chose this community because of the downtown and because we love Ridgewood. We've been residents here for only about a month, but I'm in public relations as well and wanted to be near New York City, but wanted to live in a beautiful village, so that's why we chose Ridgewood, New Jersey. So thank you for inviting us here tonight, and we're delighted to be a part of the community.
Do you just want to tell us a little bit about your business?
Sure. Wolfgang, W-O-O-F, not Wolfgang, is a franchise. There's about 94 stores. I actually worked with the franchise owner at Disney. I just retired from Disney after 18 years. They allow early retirement, so I was lucky. And I have been interested. We own 2 pets. I love the pet business, and I love dogs and cats. And It's a beautiful boutique-type store. I thought it fit really well within this community, and it was a really nice time for me and Michael to decide to do a next step in our career. So after leaving Disney, I looked for a location and found a business right at 234 that used to be the Gymboree, and thought it was a really good fit for the community. Didn't see anything like it here, and it's going to be retail. There's going to be dog treats, cat treats, fun toys, and Ridgewood is very pet-friendly, and that really appealed to us. And there's 4 stores already in New Jersey, Westfield and Allendale, Chester, and one more that I can't remember. But what appealed to us about Ridgewood was the pet-friendly nature of this community and the walk around downtown. And we're going to put a board up that says pet-friendly Ridgewood and list all of the stores and residents that are pet-friendly. And there's a lot of them, like Ann Taylor and Fox's are pet-friendly, who knew? So anyway.
Real quick, one more time, the address.
Pardon me?
The address.
234 East Ridgewood Avenue.
There you go. Thank you very much, and
Thank
welcome.
you.
Welcome. Good luck. Good seeing you. Any other public comments? Okay. Moving on to the manager's report.
Okay, one more time, the final voter registration for the general election is next Tuesday, October 17th, from 4:30 to 9 p.m. in the library lobby. All new residents to Ridgewood or those who have even moved within Ridgewood should register or re-register to vote if they have not yet done so. The Central Valet Service, the start date has been postponed due to logistical issues. We are working on it, and hopefully it will be up and running soon. The traffic alert, I want to mention there are 2. One is Linwood Avenue from Paramus Road to Washington Township. There will be daytime milling and paving. It will take place over the next 4 business days, weather permitting. And then also Broad Street next week, Monday, 8 p.m. to Tuesday, 7 a.m. approximately, milling and paving. That'll be from Franklin Avenue up through Hudson Street. Ridgewood Sidewalk Sale Days begins tomorrow, October 12th, and then continues through the 13th and 14th. There will be great bargains available in this blowout sales days featuring summer ending, fall trendings, and holiday coming, inside and outside the stores. Access for all weekend is this weekend, October 13th, 14th, and 15th, embracing our abilities, disabilities, special gifts, and special needs. Last Saturday night, there was a teen dance in the community center with a DJ and pizza. This Friday night is a family night for younger children at the library with entertainment and pizza. Saturday includes a community fair at Village Hall in the courtyard area, live music and dance, and a fashion show at the library auditorium where young models of all abilities will rock the runway. The weekend ends with an interfaith service at Friends to Friends Community Church at 7 p.m., and these events are free and are open to everyone. Chamber of Commerce Haunted Harvest plans are underway for this Halloween event scheduled for Saturday, October 28th. Dress in your favorite costume and march in the Halloween parade contest, and that will be held at Memorial Park at Van Ness Square. Yesterday, the Women Gardeners opened their resource room in the Gatehouse at Habernickel Park. This incredible resource will be open to the public the second Tuesday of each month from 1 to 3 p.m. So November's date is November 14th, and December it's December 12th. Stop by and check out this special resource. The estate card, Ridgewood officials are again proud to announce the introduction of the Ridgewood estate card. It's a property tax savings program available to Ridgewood property owners. It's an optional program if it fits within their financial ability and financial needs. The program does offer, though, a debit-like card that offers a reward on purchases made, and it's automatically applied to reduce Ridgewood property taxes billed to the card holder. An even greater level of reward is offered at participating local and online merchants. Tax rewards are applied annually to the third quarter tax bill. Visit ridgewoodestatecard.com to learn more about this exciting opportunity. Yellow postcards with the 2017 leaf schedule have been mailed to every household. If anyone did not get one, please contact the manager's office and we will send it to you via email. I also want to remind residents that yard waste collection will end next week, October 20th, and will begin again in the spring. The last thing I'd like to mention is Walktoberfest. During the month of October, sign up for walks and tours of various locations in the village, including village buildings, schools, nonprofits, food walks, dessert and pizza, jewelry, shopping, and wildscape walks. I think there's also a haunted Ridgewood walk this coming Friday, the 13th. Very appropriate. So sign up for tours at ridgewoodwalks.com. There's a whole bunch of different ones that you could participate in, and it's a wonderful way to embody community and bring community spirit through walking.
Great, thank you. Councilman Voigt?
Thank you. So the Open Space Committee met on October 2nd, and they're in the process of updating a report to the Village Council on achievements and challenges for the years 2011 through 2017. The last report was done, I think, back in 2010, so it's in dire need of updating, and that will be hopefully provided to the council here in the near future. The Planning Board meets next Tuesday, October 17th. The issues to discuss on the 17th meeting is the minor subdivision at 246 Mountain, which is continued from September 5th. There's an informal review of 5 Robinson Lane to be potentially re-tenanted as a child care center. There's an informal review for the installation of 2 emergency generators by the water utility. The first site is located at 205 East Glen Ave, and the second location is at the dead end of Salem Lane. There is a special meeting of the Planning Board to take place on Wednesday, October 18th, 2017 at 8 p.m. It's a continuation of the discussion of the Enclave development, which is on the corner of East Ridgewood Ave and Maple. Heather, is it possible to get TV for the 18th?
I'll have to check. Are there any other dates coming up for those types of applications?
I think this is kind of the last one.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, thank you. That's it. Thanks.
Just real quick, that's the Enclave, right? On that, but then we still have K&S amended.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, you're
just
absolutely right,
in the
yeah.
back of your mind, I'll
Yeah.
look at the dates on that, but there's still K&S amended, so.
Yep.
All right.
Thanks.
All right. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to start out by announcing that the Ridgewood Environmental Advisory Committee, in conjunction with Ridgewood Water, the Parks and Rec Department, and of course the library, will be holding a public forum October 18th. That's a Wednesday from 7 to 8:30 p.m. at the library. And it will feature a discussion from the New Jersey State climatologist, Dr. David Robinson. He will discuss changing climate in the state of New Jersey, weather in general, drought, and the effects that changing climate has on utilities such as Ridgewood Water. Dr. Robinson is a professor in the Department of Geography at Rutgers University and serves as the New Jersey State climatologist. I'm also happy to announce from the Green Team that we just received an email a few days ago from Sustainable Jersey that Ridgewood, New Jersey has been certified at the silver level of certification through Sustainable New Jersey, which again opens us up to more grants for projects we're either considering or future projects. And according to the website, silver certification means a municipality has made significant progress in a number of categories towards sustainability and a statewide and national leader. I'd just like to thank all the employees of the Village of Ridgewood, especially the engineering department, who really has taken the initiative, even before the Green Team was established, to do a lot of these things, to implement solar panels on all of our buildings. The digester, the generator at the water pollution control facility that converts methane that was normally just burned off in the stack into electricity that now runs the plant, and a number of other rain gardens and a whole number of other initiatives that helped us achieve this certification. So we could go out for some new grants and continue on that path to sustainability. The Shade Tree Commission also met yesterday downstairs in the garden room, and there have been 4 test sites chosen throughout the Central Business District where we are going to rehabilitate the existing tree wells. So the rehabilitation will include removing the bricks around the wells, excavating down to be determined depth to amend the soil, install root guard to prevent conflicts with sidewalks, and a watering system that goes directly to the root ball, fertilization, 3 stakes for protection and stability, and topped with gravel. So hopefully this will alleviate some of the issues we're having downtown with trees surviving. They not only get hit by cars and delivery trucks, but just because of the conditions in the tree wells, it's difficult. So if this works, we could implement it Central Business District wide, probably phased in, and there will be more details coming on that. And on a little bit of a sadder note, it's been determined that the sycamore tree on the island in Graydon, so if you're looking closer towards the intersection of Linwood and Maple, there's the island, the round island when the pool is filled, and the tree in the middle is very iconic. Everybody, I'm sure, knows the tree. I've driven by it many times. And unfortunately, that tree has reached the end of its life, and it is hollow and dead. So the village will have to remove that tree at some time in November. And anybody who would want to take a picture with it or anything like that could go up to it, go around there this month, and we'll have a more specific date specific date for the removal as we get closer to November. And that's all I have to report.
Great, thank you. Councilman Walsh?
I don't have anything this evening.
Really? Light week? Councilman Hushay?
Yeah, light week in committee land. Just a couple of announcements. As you all know, we're in the middle of Walktoberfest, so I will be hosting a tour of historic downtown on Friday the 13th. Ooh. Yeah, we can make it fun. At 11 a.m. We'll be meeting in front of the post office. That's where we'll start the tour. So reserve a spot now. You can go to ridgewoodwalks.com in order to do that. We have on Monday, October 16th, the League of Women Voters is having their annual luncheon, and the guest speaker, Josh Gottheimer, representative for the 5th Congressional District, and that will take place at the Old Paramus Reformed Church, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. And then we have a CBDAC meeting. We were supposed to meet tomorrow, but due to another engagement that's conflicting with my schedule, we have postponed it to next Thursday, October 19th at 8:30 in the morning in the garden room right downstairs.
Okay, great. First, the last Thursday evening, the Ridgewood Water Department and League of Women Voters worked on a water forum. There were many in attendance. There was a lot of information that was shared regarding the actual process, how the operations of Ridgewood Water, how we deal with contaminants, how we make sure that the water that we deliver is safe to our customers. It was well attended. There were a lot of really good questions, a lot of interaction. Slide presentation was absolutely perfect, very informative, and we should thank both our members of the Ridgewood Water Department and Pam Perrone from the League of Women Voters for organizing and putting everything together. The Blue Star Family Dinner this past Friday evening was a wonderful and humbling event organized by Commander Bob Haley of American Legion Post 53 and his people there. Was held at Our Lady of Mount Carmel. The main course was served to Blue Star families, as we all have now heard, by Councilman Walsh and Deputy Mayor Seaton. It is true, I was handling the salads and chicken wraps. Blue Star family members shared their personal stories with the group. The stories were heartwarming and proud, humorous, and also tear-filled. We should all be grateful to those men and women serving our nation, but also let's not forget their families who sacrifice so much with loved ones, sometimes on the other side of the earth. They don't hear from them for extended periods of time, and they worry about them all the time. Special shout out and thanks to Applebee's and for providing all of the dinner, and to Ben & Jerry's for the really good ice cream. Saturday morning, bright and early, Our Lady of Mount Carmel, home runs, Knights of Columbus, home runs for the homeless, fundraising fun. The Knights of Columbus did proudly present me with a large toddler baseball and bat. I didn't need it. I used the stickball, traditional stickball, and the little pink Spalding ball, and I'm proud to report my first swing was a strike, but my second was a single. So we did a good job. We really held down the village council fort. Our village attorney, Matt Rogers, was also playing on behalf of the village council. He also pulled off a single. He and I both managed to bring ourselves home. The village council team also included Councilman Hache, Deputy Mayor Seaton. Our opponents were actually 5 high school students, most of whom play on the Ridgewood High School Maroons baseball team. I think they were very generous to us. They were careful pitches. Special shout out to Max, their pitcher, for a really great job. It was a little bit of a mercy ending, and thanks to the Knights of Columbus and Tony Lupo, and I hope they raised a lot of good money for the homeless. Saturday night, Village Hall was hopping with the beat of dance music and the sounds of fun and laughter as members of our special needs community enjoyed a night of partying and dance. The program is designed for young adult members of the special needs community. An evening social and dance was enjoyed by all. There were a lot of people to thank, all the amazing members of the Ridgewood Community Access Network. Special thanks to Matthew Mandelli for all of his work coordinating music, and big thanks to Nancy Riley and Lynn Feeney. And we heard this a little while ago that Commander Paoli pointed out Project Interact. And if you don't know much about Project Interact, this is an amazing, amazing group of Ridgewood High School students. I think there's 300 currently participating in Project Interact. These kids showed up early in the day. They did all the decorations and setup. And when you think about special needs, it's like a very broad range of different disabilities. And the decorations are absolutely amazing, just incredible. The kids did an incredible job. Everyone did. And they hung around until the end while we all cleaned up and pulled down all the decorations and picked up all the pizza plates and the ice cream cups and everything else. So thanks to everyone, and shout out to Project Interact. 4th of July committee met last night offering a recap of July 4th, 2017, which was hugely successful. Success due in large part to the perfect, magnificent weather, and also the 50-50 raffle. Some might recall that I did win the 50-50 raffle at Academy of Our Lady Glen Rock and Our Lady of Mount Carmel. And last year I shared this opportunity of winning the big prize with the July 4th committee, and thought it was a good opportunity for the 4th of July committee to raise some much needed funds and to supplement their program. And it was such a huge success, even with the late start date of it, because there was a long time waiting. I think we started the permit process in February and it didn't come until later. So the permit's good for 2 years. We'll be able to start earlier. The committee is also thinking about themes. Any suggestions? Feel free. That's for themes for 2018. But we're really in a great place with a good financial outlook, and we look forward to next year. The Ridgewood Fire Department hosted the annual Fire Prevention Week luncheon for all Ridgewood Public School HSA presidents. The event revolves around a school district-wide competition for the best safety timing on fire drills. Was it for that? Yes. Okay. It's like, it was only just this afternoon, but I had to think through because I was really rooting for Somerville. Sorry, it's the home team. Congratulations to Travell for bringing home the big trophy, a vintage white fire helmet. They reduced their overall timing on fire drills by 5 seconds. So the helmet will be held by the winning school until the 2018 competition. Good job, Travell. Tomorrow night, Historic Preservation Commission will be meeting in the garden room. Our meeting will be beginning a little bit earlier, 7:30. And so that's, I think there's only 1 or 2 applications. I don't recall, but somebody could check the agenda. Please remember Friday, October 13th, Saturday, October 14th, and Sunday, October 15th for Access Ridgewood. I know the village manager ran by it. I just want to point out that I am hosting the fashion show, which is Saturday, and that's really a great opportunity to support our special needs community, to call attention to our special needs community, and to help advance the important things that they need moving into adulthood that are not so easy for employment, housing, and other things, not so easy for members of our special needs community to facilitate. So with that, I think that's it. and we'll move on.
Okay, there are no ordinances for introduction or adoption under Ridgewood Water. The next item is resolutions for Ridgewood Water. The following resolutions, numbered 17-294 through 17-304, are to be adopted by a consent agenda with one vote by the village council. They will be read by title only. Title 59 approval, laboratory analysis services. Award contract, laboratory analysis services. Title 59 approval, servicing and repairing of electric source. Award contract, servicing and repairing of electric source. Title 59 approval, furnishing and delivering sodium hypochlorite solution. Award contract, furnishing and delivering sodium hypochlorite solution. Title 59 approval, service and repair of potable water pumping facilities. Award contract, service and repair of potable water pumping facilities. Award contract, emergency generator installations. Authorized change order, professional services for Glen Tank rehabilitation, and authorized execution of lease agreement, co-location of wireless telecommunication antennas on the Glen Avenue tank. May I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Hache?
Yes.
Seaton?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes. Moving on to ordinances, I move the first reading of ordinance 3618.
Second.
Hache?
Yes.
Seaton?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes. So ordered, will the clerk please read ordinance 3618 by title?
An ordinance to fix the salary, wage, or compensation of and for the supervisory employees of the Village of Ridgewood, County of Bergen, and State of New Jersey.
I move that ordinance 3618 be adopted on first reading on November 8th, 2017, be fixed as the date for the hearing thereon.
Second.
Hache?
Yes.
Seaton?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes. I move the first reading of ordinance 3619.
Second.
Hache?
Yes.
Seaton?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes, so ordered, will the clerk please read ordinance 3619 by title?
An ordinance to fix salaries, wages, and other compensation of non-union employees of the Village of Ridgewood, County of Bergen, and State of New Jersey for the year 2017.
I move that ordinance 3619 be adopted on first reading and that November 8th, 2017 be fixed as the date for the hearing thereon.
Second.
Hache?
Yes.
Seaton?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes. I move the first reading of ordinance 3620.
Second.
Hache?
Yes.
Seaton?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes, so ordered, will the clerk please read ordinance 3620 by title?
An ordinance to fix salaries, wages, and other compensation and to establish the employee agreement of certain non-union officers and employees of the Village of Ridgewood, County of Bergen, and State of New Jersey for the year 2017.
I move that ordinance 3620 be adopted on first reading on November 8th, 2017, be fixed as the date for the hearing thereon.
Second.
Hache?
Yes.
Seaton?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes. I move the first reading of ordinance 3621.
Second.
Hache?
Yes.
Seaton?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes, so ordered, will the clerk please read ordinance 3621 by title?
An ordinance to amend Chapter 265 of the Code of the Village of Ridgewood, Vehicles and Traffic, at Section 265-52, Schedule 2, Mid-Block Crosswalks, and Section 265-65, Schedule 15, Parking Prohibited at All Times, and Section 265-67, Schedule 17, Parking Prohibited Certain Hours, and Section 265-69, Schedule 19, Time Limit Parking.
I move that ordinance 3621 be adopted on first reading and that November 8th, 2017 be fixed as the date for the hearing thereon.
Second.
Hache?
Yes.
Seaton?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes. I move the first reading of ordinance 3622.
Second.
Hache?
Yes.
Seaton?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes, so ordered, will the clerk please read ordinance 3622 by title?
An ordinance to amend Chapter 265 of the Code of the Village of Ridgewood, Vehicles and Traffic, at Section 265-59, Schedule 9, Stop Intersections, and at Section 265-60, Schedule 10, Yield Intersections.
I move that ordinance 3622 be adopted on first reading on November 8th, 2017, be fixed as the date for the hearing thereon.
Second.
Hache?
Yes.
Seaton?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes. I move the clerk read ordinance 3613 by title on second reading and the public hearing thereon be open.
Second.
Ashay?
Yes.
Sedin?
Yes.
Voight?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton?
Yes. Will the clerk please read the title of ordinance 3613?
An ordinance to amend Chapter 265 of the Code of the Village of Ridgewood, Vehicles and Traffic, at Section 265-42, Reserved Parking Spaces, and Section 265-55, Schedule 5, U-turn prohibitions, and Section 265-66, no stopping or standing, and Section 265-69, Schedule 19, time limit parking.
The public hearing is now open. Okay. I move the public hearing be closed.
Second?
Ashay?
Yes.
Sedin?
Yes.
Voight?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton?
Yes.
I move that ordinance 3613 be adopted on second reading and final publication as required by law.
Second?
Ashay?
Yes.
Sedin?
Yes.
Voight?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton?
Yes. I move the clerk read ordinance 3614 by title on the second reading and that the public hearing thereon be open.
Second.
Ashay?
Yes.
Sedin?
Yes.
Voight?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton?
Yes. Will the clerk please read the title of ordinance 3614?
An ordinance to amend Chapter 265 of the Code of the Village of Ridgewood, Vehicles and Traffic, in Section 265-69, time limit parking.
Public hearing is now open. I move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Ashay?
Yes.
Sedin?
Yes.
Voight?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton?
Yes.
I move that ordinance 3614 be adopted on second reading and final publication as required by law.
Second.
Ashay?
Yes.
Sedin?
Yes.
Voight?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton?
Yes. I move the clerk read ordinance 3615 by title on the second reading and the public hearing thereon be open.
Second.
Ashay?
Yes.
Sedin?
Yes.
Voight?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton?
Yes. Will the clerk please read the title of ordinance 3615?
An ordinance to amend Chapter 265 of the Code of the Village of Ridgewood, Vehicles and Traffic, at Section 265-74, Schedule 24, bus stops.
The public hearing is now open. I move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Ashay?
Yes.
Sedin?
Yes.
Voight?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton?
Yes.
I move that ordinance 3615 be adopted on second reading and final publication as required by law.
Second.
Ashay?
Yes.
Sedin?
Yes.
Voight?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton?
Yes. I move the clerk read ordinance 3616 by title on the second reading and that the public hearing thereon be open.
Second.
Ashay?
Yes.
Sedin?
Yes.
Voight?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton?
Yes. Will the clerk please read the title of ordinance 3616?
An ordinance to amend Chapter 265 of the Code of the Village of Ridgewood, Vehicles and Traffic, at Section 265-29, parking meter zone designated.
Public hearing is now open. I move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Ashay?
Yes.
Sedin?
Yes.
Voight?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton?
Yes.
Move that ordinance 3616 be adopted on second reading and final publication as required by law.
Second.
Ashay?
Yes.
Sedin?
Yes.
Voight?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton?
Yes. I move the clerk read ordinance 3617 by title on the second reading and that the public hearing thereon be open.
Second.
Ashay?
Yes.
Sedin?
Yes.
Voight?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton?
Yes. Will the clerk please read the title of ordinance 3617?
An ordinance to amend Chapter 145 of the Code of the Village of Ridgewood fees at Section 145-6, enumeration of fees relating to code chapters.
Public hearing is now open. I move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Ashay?
Yes.
Sedin?
Yes.
Voight?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton?
Yes.
I move that ordinance 3617 be adopted on second reading and final publication as required by law.
Second.
Ashay?
Yes.
Sedin?
Yes.
Voight?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton?
Yes.
The following resolutions, numbered 17-305 through 17-325, will be adopted by a consent agenda with one vote by the village council. They will be read by title only. Award contract, layout, printing, and distributing of 2018 village calendar. Title 59, approval, repair of stairs, train station pedestrian tunnel to the center platform. Award contract, repair of stairs, train station pedestrian tunnel to the center platform. Title 59, approval repair of stairs, Corsa Terrace to Library Place. Award contract, repair of stairs, Corsa Terrace to Library Place. Award contract under state contract, recap tires. Award contract under state contract, Ford F-250 pickup, truck with snowplow, Engineering Division. Award second additional partial contract, tree planting. Award third additional partial contract, road resurfacing and repair. Award contract, odor control system, water pollution control facility. Award professional services contract, odor control system, water pollution control facility. Award professional services contract, grant writing and consulting services. Award professional services contract, professional engineering services, preparation of plans for bids, improvements to HVAC system in Village Hall. Approved submission of 2018 NJDOT paving grant application, Hillcrest Road. Approve Eagle Scout project, building of raptor nests. Accept 2016 annual audit report. Accept 2016 corrective action plan. Urge state legislators to reject bills for amendments to OPRA and OPMA. Authorize settlement of claim $11,200, block 4302, lot 15, 543 Lotus Road. Amend resolution, pilot program for Central Valet parking in Central Business District, and award contract operation and maintenance of Chestnut Street dumpster pad. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Hache?
Yes.
Seaton?
Yes.
Vogt?
Yes.
Walsh? And Newton.
Yes. I'm sorry. Okay. With that, we're back to comments from the public, not to exceed 5 minutes per person. Hello.
Good evening. Boyd Loving, 342 South Irving Street. I'm here tonight to express my displeasure that the Village Council has chosen to adopt resolution number 17-322 on a consent agenda. I believe that my wife and I spoke about this last week and expressed our displeasure about this last week as well. And I want to thank the manager for posting the information on the village website from the League of Municipalities. We had asked for that. The mayor had read it last week, or was referencing it last week, and we did not know what in particular the league was objecting to, but the comments were posted, or the league's comments were posted as we had requested, so we thank you very much for that. And I read through them all, and the way you've even gotten written here, the last line of the sentence is that it says, provide for financial resources to effectuate changes to OPRA and OPMA for benefit of the public. I am very disappointed that you would vote in favor of squelching something that is in benefit or for benefit of the public. Now, I realize after reading the complete list of proposed changes that there were some that were a bit, somewhat that may have seemed somewhat reasonable or unreasonable, but most seemed very reasonable to me. And in particular, I'd like to point out one that affects or affected the residents of Ridgewood, something that happened in this very room. Now, one of the comments made from the league was about security cameras. And I believe you all recall that there was an allegation that an assault took place during a village council meeting, and a number of us filed an OPRA request to get a copy of the surveillance video from that day, and we were denied because the OPRA currently permits the police department to deny that. One of the proposals here is that that type of information would have to be released to the public if these two bills pass. And I wholeheartedly support that. I think we have to remember that we, the public, own all of this. Our money pays for it. It's very disturbing to me that we buy it, but then we are not allowed access to it. And that's basically my impression of what this is all about. It's providing or going to provide the public with more access to information. So again, I am very disappointed in you all that you would back the league and basically support the denial of providing more access to the public. Again, it's our money. We should have every right to as much information as we can, and it really disappoints me that you did not vote in favor of that, or are not supporting these two bills, which would provide us that information, particularly in light of what happened in this very room. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Any other comments? With that, we'll take a resolution to go into closed session.
Just one second. Be it resolved by the Village Council of the Village of Ridgewood that the Village Council meet in closed session on October 11th, 2017, at 8:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter on the agenda can be reached, and the said closed session be held in the caucus room on the 4th floor of the Ridgewood Village Hall, 131 North Maple Avenue, Ridgewood, New Jersey, and be further resolved that the matters to be discussed in closed session are limited to legal matters and to include issues with Oprah and Oprah. These matters are allowable under NJSA 10:4-12 et seq. And be it further resolved that the minutes of this meeting shall be made available to the general public when such matters have been deemed completed by resolution of the Village Council. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Thank you.